Welcome to Tacuma Talks. This is a YouTube channel where I get into the issues of the day regarding politics, culture, pop culture, and things like that. So today I want to talk about something that has been having the internet abuzz. It centers around an actor's comments about raising his sons and his comments about the death of masculinity in America. So, to fill you in, Captain America actor Anthony Mackie, a very famous black actor that you may know of from movies like 8 Mile and such, came out on the Pivot podcast, a very popular sports podcast, and talked about how he wants to raise his sons. He mentioned first and foremost that he doesn't, because he's a Hollywood star, he's not trying to raise his sons to be what you think of when you think about the stereotypical Hollywood star kid, someone who's spoiled, someone who's entitled. He wants them to be real men, polite and respectful men. So here's what he said. He said that in regards, I want to keep my boys humble. Like, my boys have never had a pair of Jordans. My boys don't do all the internet fly stuff. I'm paraphrasing there. I could be the biggest star in the world, but do not let me catch you being stupid. And my oldest kid gets it. The 15-year-old, he told the other ones, yo, don't make dad mad, because once you get one that's right, he's going to straighten the other ones out. And so again, and I really respected his comments here about not trying to raise kids who are entitled, who are in the news on TMZ for doing stupid stuff. And we've seen a lot of that recently. But the comments that got everybody ablaze, again, had to do with his comments about the death of American masculinity. Here's what he also said in that same Pivot podcast interview. He says, so it's just that thing of, in the past 20 years, we've been living through the death of the American male, Mackie continued. They have literally killed masculinity in our homes and our communities for one reason or another. But I raised my boys to be young men, and however you feel about that, you feel about that. But my boys will always be respectful. They will always say, yes, sir, yes, ma'am, no, sir, no, ma'am. They will always say, thank you. So that's just what he said in part in this interview. However, his comments had certain parties on the internet, on social media, on X, for example, equating his comments to be homophobic, to be anti-gay. They've equated it to him asserting this sort of toxic masculinity. And what I've noticed about the society, and I think Mr. Mackie isn't far off, right? It seems as if there's a hasty means to want to equate masculinity in any form with something toxic. Now, I do agree that throughout society, we've seen a multitude of examples that exemplify toxic masculinity. We've seen it from every specter you can think of in our society, from business to politics to entertainment and etc. And I think we all can agree that toxic masculinity, whether it's in our homes through our parental figures, our family members, our leaders, does no one any good. But the type of masculinity that Anthony Mackie was advocating for his boys, he talked about a healthy masculinity, right? He talked about raising boys to be men, but polite and respectful, right? And so I think that's a fine line, a fine delineation he is making about healthy masculinity versus something that's toxic. But it also begs this question. Why is it that even when advocating for healthy masculinity, Heterosexual masculinity, why is there always a rush to equate it as something toxic? Why was he attacked for having these particular views, right? And I think that's what begs the question. I wanted to ask you that in the comments. What do you think about Anthony Mackie's comments about the death of the American male in the last 20 years? Is it true? Is he onto something? Is what he's saying really toxic? Or is it an accurate picture of what we see in pop culture, particularly as it relates to African American males? I want to hear your thoughts. Drop them in the comments. That's my brief little comment, my spiel on Anthony Mackie and the death of an American male. Thank you all for joining me.